Hey guys, welcome back to English is Easy. I'm your host, Connor. This is the show where I use slow, clear, and simple English to help you improve your English. Today we have a really exciting lesson planned. First, we're gonna read a short story together. Then, answer some reading comprehension questions to make sure we understood the story. After that, we will take a look at some challenging vocabulary and learn some new words. And finally, for my Patreon subscribers, we will have bonus vocabulary, a critical thinking question, and some speaking practice. So, if you're ready to get started, click like on this video to support me, subscribe so you never miss another video, and let's dive in. Today's story is called The Wolf of Wall Street. I love this movie. Maybe you guys have seen this movie. If you have, leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about the movie. Let's start with the story. Jordan Belfort was a young, ambitious man with big dreams. He wanted to be rich and powerful, so he moved to New York City and started working on Wall Street, the place where all the big money is made. Now, at first, things were tough. Jordan had to make hundreds of phone calls every day trying to sell stocks or pieces of companies to people who didn't even want them. He worked for a big company and his boss, Mark Hanna, taught him some dirty tricks. Mark told him to live for money and pleasure, or feeling good, to spend money on fancy things, and to always keep making more money no matter what. But then the stock market crashed or fell apart. The big company Jordan worked for, it went out of business and he lost his job. Jordan was scared and he didn't know what to do. But he didn't give up. He found a small and cheap, or inexpensive company that sold stocks for tiny companies. These stocks were called penny stocks because they were worth very little. Jordan realized that he could make a lot of money by selling these penny stocks to rich people. Jordan was very good at selling. He was charming or attractive, charismatic, right? People like him. And he could talk people into anything, into doing anything, right? He started making a lot of money and quickly moved up. He decided to start his own company, and he named it Stratton Oakmont. He hired his friends who were not very smart or honest, but they were loyal and ready to do anything to get rich. What is loyal, right? Loyal, if you have a loyal friend, then they will stand by your side and not turn their back on you or betray you no matter what. You can count on them. You can depend on them. Jordan and his friends worked hard, but they also partied hard. They spent their money on big houses, fast cars, and wild parties, crazy parties, right? Jordan became very rich and very powerful, and he loved every minute of it. He was the king of Wall Street, and nothing could stop him. But Jordan's success was built on lies and tricks. He was cheating people out of their money, and he knew it. Deep down, he was playing a dangerous game, and he knew that one day it all might come crashing down. In other words, it might end badly. It might end in disaster. Jordan's company, Stratton Oakmont, was growing fast. Jordan and his friends were making millions of dollars by selling worthless stocks to people. They tricked or deceived their clients with sweet words and big promises, taking their money and leaving them with nothing. With all the money flowing in, coming in, Jordan's life became more extravagant or luxurious or fancy, right? He bought a huge mansion, a yacht or a big fancy boat, and even a helicopter. The parties were wild, filled with drugs and alcohol and beautiful women. Jordan and his friends lived like kings, and they thought they were invincible. In other words, unstoppable. But trouble was brewing. The FBI started to take notice. They suspected, they had a feeling that Jordan and his company were breaking the law. An agent named Patrick Denham began investigating, determined to bring Jordan down. However, Jordan was clever, very smart, right? He hid his tracks well, using secret bank accounts in Switzerland to stash or hide his money. As the pressure mounted or increased, Jordan's personal life started to fall apart. His first wife, Teresa, left him because of his wild lifestyle and cheating. Jordan quickly married again, a beautiful model named Naomi, but their relationship was built on lies and deceit. Deceit or dishonesty. They had a daughter, but even this didn't stop Jordan's reckless or his crazy behavior. Jordan's addiction to drugs grew worse. He became erratic or unpredictable. In other words, it was hard to tell what he was going to do next. He was not very dependable, not very reliable, and made risky decisions. He even tried to bribe or offer money for illegal favors to the FBI agent, but it backfired. His bribe backfired. It failed. The walls were closing in. Things were getting worse and worse, in other words. But Jordan was blinded by his own greed and arrogance. Well, in a desperate move to keep his empire from crumbling or falling apart, Jordan decided to make one last big deal. He planned to smuggle or illegally transport millions of dollars into Switzerland. He trusted his friend Donnie Azoff to help him, but things went terribly wrong. Their plan, it was sloppy, and the Swiss bankers got nervous. Their plan was sloppy, so not very organized, not very thought through, really messy, right? During this time, Jordan's company was still making money, but the illegal activities were becoming harder to hide. The FBI was closing in, gathering more evidence against him. Jordan's world, which had seemed so perfect and untouchable, was starting to crack, starting to break, right? The tension was rising. Jordan knew he was running out of time. He tried to maintain or hold on to his rich, his lavish lifestyle, and keep his business afloat, keep it running. But the weight of his crimes was too heavy. The once unstoppable king of Wall Street was on the brink of losing everything. What does that mean? On the brink of losing everything. That means he is on the cusp of losing everything. He is so close to losing everything. His world was unraveling or coming apart fast. Okay, the FBI, they had gathered enough evidence to charge him with fraud or lying, deceit, and money laundering or illegally hiding money. Jordan, once the king of Wall Street, was now facing the harsh reality of his crimes. Also, his personal life was in shambles. In shambles. In other words, it was a big mess. His second wife, Naomi, had had enough of his lies and drug addiction. After a violent fight, Naomi decided to leave him, taking their daughter with her. Now, Jordan was alone, his family torn apart by his reckless actions, his thoughtless actions, right? Jordan's last hope was to save his fortune and avoid prison. He really doesn't want to lose his money. He really doesn't want to go to prison, right? So, what did he do? He agreed to cooperate, work with the FBI, and wear a wire, a hidden microphone to record his conversations with his colleagues, hoping to get a lighter sentence. In other words, maybe if he spies on his colleagues or the people that he works with and makes some recordings of their conversations to get evidence, he can get a lighter sentence, a lighter punishment, right? This was a betrayal, and this betrayal was difficult for him, but he saw no other way out. The day came when Jordan had to face his friends and record their incriminating conversations. Something that's incriminating proves guilt. Something that's incriminating, it proves you are guilty. He felt a mixture of guilt and fear, knowing that he was betraying or turning his back, going against the people who had helped him build his empire, make all his money. The recordings worked, and the FBI gathered enough evidence to arrest many of Jordan's associates. The people he worked with. Finally, the day of reckoning or judgment arrived. Jordan stood in court, his once proud and arrogant demeanor or way of acting, now replaced with a sense of defeat. He was sentenced to prison for his crimes. The luxurious life he had built on lies and deceit had crumbled, fallen apart, leaving him to pay the price for his actions. In prison, Jordan had time to reflect on his life, think back on his life, reevaluate his life. He realized that his endless pursuit or chase of wealth and power had cost him everything: his family, his friends, and his freedom. He served a few years in prison and was released on a plea deal. After prison, Jordan tried to rebuild his life. He started giving speeches about his experiences talking in public about what had happened, hoping to teach others about the dangers of greed and the consequences or the bad things that might happen if you are unethical, if you have wrong behavior. His story served as a warning about the price of living a life built on lies and deceptions. His fall from grace was dramatic and complete. He had reached the highest heights of wealth and power, right? Only to lose it all because of his own actions. So his story is a powerful reminder that no matter how high you rise, the truth will always catch up with you in the end. And guys, that concludes the dramatic story of Jordan Belfort, also known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Great, fantastic. So guys, now let's keep moving. I have some reading comprehension questions to check and see how well did you pay attention? How much did you understand of this story? Question 1. Why did Jordan Belfort lose his first job on Wall Street? This is a multiple choice question. You can pick your answer. Let me know in the comments section of this video. Question 2. What were some of the extravagant or luxurious or fancy things Jordan bought with his money? Question 3. What did Jordan do to try and reduce or lessen or lighten his prison sentence? Okay, guys, let me know your answers to 1 or 2 or even all 3 of these reading comprehension questions in the comments section, and let's keep studying with some vocabulary words. Now, I've taken some of the more difficult words from the story, and what we're going to do is take a closer look at them to make sure we understand. The first word is extravagant. Extravagant, or luxurious. That means you spend a lot of money on things that are not necessary. Things that you don't necessarily need, right? Synonyms or similar words include lavish, expensive, fancy. With all the money flowing in, Jordan's life became more extravagant. He bought a huge mansion or a really big house, a yacht or a really big boat, and even a helicopter. The hotel room was extravagant, with gold-plated fixtures and a private pool. Moving on to our second word, we have unraveling. Unraveling, or falling apart. It means starting to come apart or fall apart. So similar words might be crumbling, collapsing, or disintegrating. Okay? Here's an example from the story. Jordan Belfort's world was unraveling fast. His world was unraveling fast. All of the things he had built, it was all coming apart. The plan began unraveling when key members of the team quit unexpectedly. So, in this example sentence, some team members quit unexpectedly or suddenly, and when they did so, this plan, it began to unravel, began to come apart. Next, we have deceit, dishonesty. It means the act of lying or tricking someone. Deception, fraud, dishonesty. These are all similar words. In the story, here's what we saw. Jordan and his friends were making millions of dollars by selling worthless stocks to people. They tricked their clients with sweet words and big promises, taking their money and leaving them with nothing. So Jordan and his friends, they were being deceitful. Deceitful. right? The deceit in his words was clear when his true intentions were revealed. His true intentions, what he really wanted to do. All right, guys, that concludes the free portion of today's video, and my videos here on YouTube will always be free for you guys. However, if you would like to get bonus content, if you would like to get early access to videos, if you would like a thank you message specifically addressed to you, personalized in my videos, and most importantly, if you would like to support me as your English teacher, then I hope you will consider subscribing to my Patreon. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can get all of these benefits. I promise you it is worth it. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for all of your support. Once more, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you again next time for more high-quality English lessons. Until then, bye-bye.